Well, hey everyone, how's it going? I am going to have my Tesla drive me to the gym today, and we'll see how it goes. This is Tesla full self-driving version 12.3.3. So let the games begin. I am in a parking lot just outside my condo. The software has engaged. Leaving my condo, I don't have to always take this turn, but can be a tricky unprotected left-hand turn. So we're going to see how the car handles that right now. It always comes to a complete stop at stop signs, then ends up creeping forward. That little blue wiggly line is called the creep line. So it should go after this. Oh, there's a car coming on the right. It could have gone, but it decided to wait. There it goes. It takes the unprotected left-hand turn. It takes the turn a little too sharply. It should just take the turn and get right into the lane, but it kind of does a diagonal turn. It doesn't need to do that. So that's something it can improve on, but it did the turn without me having to intervene. Now the car is driving itself. I got a little camera mount for the back of my car, and the Tesla couldn't decide if it wanted to change lanes or not, probably because there's two cars in this lane in front of me and no cars in the lane to the left. So it was thinking about using the left lane to pass the cars in front of me, but it decided not to. But there was hesitation there, and it was probably confusing for the cars behind me to have a blinker go on and off like that. We're now getting ready to go on the freeway. Car is driving on the lane lines a little bit, but that's fine. And here we go on the freeway. There's a hesitancy for about a few seconds when it's getting on a freeway ramp. It stays at like 35 to 40 miles per hour for a couple seconds, and then the mile per hour max hits 70. That's something that could be improved. It doesn't need to drive slowly on the on-ramp like that. But here it's changing lanes, a couple lanes over to the left to stay out of the right turn lane. That's a good, nice feature. There's a steering wheel nag, it's called, where I have to interact with the steering wheel. I just press on one of these knobs up or down. But so far I haven't had to intervene. Usually when I do intervene, it's on that unprotected left-hand turn out of my condo parking lot, because it takes the turn way too sharply and diagonally when it should turn by going straight ahead and forward and then to the left. So there it signaled and canceled again. We're just driving along. I would say that my Tesla does 90% of my driving now. That's maybe more. The 10%, 5 or 10% that I do is in a parking lot, or in my condo parking lot, or in my condo garage, or in a tricky construction zone. I'll drive the car manually. But most of the time, for freeway driving and city street driving, the car does it. It takes these exits, like getting into that exit lane, it takes them a little hard and fast. You can get in a little sooner and less abrasively, but it does it. Looks like we have a red light here. But yeah, I've been enjoying having my car drive itself. It takes a burden off of me having to focus on driving. It frees up my mind to think, and of course I'm still paying attention to the road, but it's nice to have the car be kind of a teammate or a co-pilot. And most of the time when it's driving on the freeway and the side streets like it is, it's pretty good. Every so often I have to do what's called a disengagement, and that means I'll grab the wheel or hit the brake and stop the car because it's being too finicky with its signals, or it's crossing a solid lane line when it shouldn't be. But these are things that aren't happening very often. Tesla will eventually fix these, and then it'll be interesting to see what happens if you're doing hundreds of drives with not needing to touch the car at all or intervene. Is the car ready at that point to be driverless and to be a driverless Uber for people? That's ultimately what I want to do with the car, is let it drive people around, and I think it'll get there eventually. It's a hard problem to solve, though. I love the visualization screen. You can kind of see the entire, the Tesla can see much more than what any human can see. As I'm looking forward, I see kind of these cars in front and some of these turning, but it has a full 360 degree vision with 8 cameras, and so it has a lot more ability to see what's going on. Tesla is doing imitation learning, so I'm learning a little bit about AI right now, and imitation learning means patterning AI after humans. So look at what humans are doing and try to do that, or take what the very best humans are doing and do that. So Tesla is training its system with videos from humans completing successful maneuvers on the street. And this imitation learning means just imitating humans. But eventually there will be a cap or a ceiling to that kind of training. There's only so much humans can do correctly as far as our driving goes and our ability to navigate situations. Tesla will eventually move to a second phase of AI training, which is called reinforcement learning. And I believe it'll start doing that once it's got good data from the best human drivers and the car is driving, let's say, 10 times better than the average human driver. And here it's changing a lane in front of a car. It did it. So the car was in that left lane, even though I need to make a right turn, probably to save time. I'm headed to the gym, Lifetime Fitness, here in Utah in South Jordan. But the reinforcement learning will be Tesla training the car. Now here it needs to make a right-hand turn. Sometimes it waits too long to get into the lane, but it did fine. There's no cars trying to make the right-hand turn behind me. Oftentimes cars will get in that right-hand turn lane very soon, and if I'm not making that turn, a car behind me may get to the side of me, and that can be kind of a sticky situation. But back to the reinforcement learning, as I'm almost to the gym here. Reinforcement learning means training the AI system with the best human drivers or data from human drivers and putting them in a synthetic world, a virtual world, where Tesla can program all sorts of situations and scenarios, or even recreate an entire city, and then put 1,000 Tesla vehicles in that city and say, drive, and you must drive quickly, safely, and efficiently. So the fastest drivers, the most safe drivers, and the drivers that use the least amount of battery energy would come forth as the winners. And what that means is then those clips from that synthetic world with the best virtual drivers would start being used to train Tesla's AI system. And now you're having the AI feed itself and train over and over, and then you take the winners of the synthetic world, and then you train them again and again, and maybe even come up with even more criteria, and eventually you can get to 100 times better than a human driver, or you can get to superhuman levels of driving. The drive is complete. I'm gonna go park now. I'm gonna go for a walk here in the sun because it's nice out. It's interesting, when the car arrives at a destination, it kind of drives around a little. It doesn't find a parking space by itself yet. I think it will eventually. I'm gonna let it drive a little bit, and we'll see if it decides to go find a parking spot or if it just stops completely. And it's just driving along, and nope, it's not going to stop. So I'm going to stop it. Car reached the destination. I just sent Tesla a voice note on why I disengaged the system, because Tesla gets that information. So thank y'all for watching. That's my drive to the gym. We'll see y'all next time.